All right, I'm going to do a real quick video this morning for you guys on on something that I think will help us for acquiring the other strip after the turn. So if you watch here real quick, one of the problems that we had with this setup was as soon as we got to this point, the sensor was all the way on the left, detecting at like a negative huge number right here, right? Left position is negative 78 or something like that, right? And the problem is that in order to get to the middle of the sensor, it wants to turn left, but you're already coming in at an angle. So at this point, it's going to shimmy further to the left, and then it's going to pull itself right off the strip. This is the problem you guys are having. I think there's a fairly easy solution. Let me show you in my code here real quick before I run through this again. All right, so in our follow track routine here, obviously we have our mode switch that puts us in RC throttle. That's irrelevant, right? Else if I see a left marker and the timer's at 0, then I go into this turning routine, right? I also just use the same turning routine for the marker right. So else if I see marker right is true and timer 1 equals 0, that also starts a turning routine. So either way, if I see a left marker or right marker, I'm starting a turning routine. You guys are going to also have to at some point count the left markers and the right markers, and the accumulated count versus the marker left count. But for right now, let's just get acquiring the strip on the other side here. And so if I start this turning routine, then as soon as I start it, the timer is running, and I no longer have timer 1 equals 0. So I now am in this state right now, where if timer 1 is greater than 0, then continue turning. So throttle 200, steering negative 75, and I'm just continuing that. I actually let off the steering a little bit. So I used a little bit more steering at the beginning, a little less steering from there on. And mind you, my steering and throttle values, don't pay any attention to those. It's going to be different for the actual snowplow. So you're going to have to, in a simulated world, everything's is what it is. And then what we did was we said, if we're not using the timer anymore, but I still haven't detected the tape, so I get to a point where I just want to drive straight towards that other strip. So my steering is 0, my throttle is 200. So at this point, I'm just going to drive straight towards that other strip. However, here's the chunk of code that I think could help us a ton. Meaning, if I detect the tape and the left position is less than negative 50, meaning I'm way on the left side of the sensor, I'm going to wind up starting another timer here, okay? And if that timer 2 is equal to 0, go ahead and set timer 2 equal to like a 1 second or whatever's going to work out for you guys. Get that timer value. And then if that timer value is greater than 0, so I'm counting down now, 1,099, 999, 998, and so on and so forth. Instead of putting in a huge negative steering command or a huge positive steering command or any of that, I'm going to take control of that steering command. I'm going to actually slow down the throttle, and I'm going to do just a little bit of a steering command. And this could be anything. You guys will have to play with these numbers a little bit. And then I can look at the timer value again. And then once the timer is gone altogether, I'm no longer have any timers going on, then I'm just following the tape again. Let me show you what I mean when you look at this in real life. Oh, I got to turn my, there we go. Got to make sure my, my RC mode is not on. And so now I'm going to go straight. I'm going to pause here. Okay, so as soon as I got to here, I started the turn. There's my negative 100. I don't have timer 1 in here right now, but timer 1 is starting right now. There's my negative 75. I'm actually going into this turn here, right? My throttle and is 200. My steering's negative 75. The timer 1 is going to time out. Again, I don't have it in the console here right now, but timer 1 is going to time out, and I'm going to start to drive straight. So you can see right there, I'm starting to drive straight. Now at this point, I'm going to get a huge negative value on this left side of the marker. So right there, you can see the negative, the left position marker was something like negative 73 or something. I actually got it over here too, negative 78 even. And the problem with it being that huge value is it's really going to want to make you steer really, really hard, right? if you're just going to do it based upon that. So instead of that, what I did was I said, no. Here's what I want to do. If I detect the tape detect, and that value is greater than -50, I go into that other routine where I'm limiting that steering to -20. I'm just going to do a -20 steering command and watch what the results are here. It zeroes in, it never really gets off, and even on this other side, I can call that same routine, and you can see it zeroes in, it never really gets off, it doesn't do that big overshoot. Now again, you're going to have to play with numbers again, right? There's going to be a lot of playing with the numbers, and I don't know if my negatives are negative and yours are positive. It doesn't make a difference. There is a solution here that's going to allow you guys to real quickly and easily zone in on that magnetic strip and not do that tremendous overshoot at that point like we were doing in the past. And again, it's not the perfect solution, but really what we're doing down here is if all we were doing was just finding the tape position and finding that huge negative value and multiplying it by the gain, you're going to make a huge oversteer on this thing. So instead what I did was I said, no, if the left position is really, really negative and you've just detected the tape and I created another timer, then what I've done is I've set the timer count here, and I've used that timer count to only steer -20 for about a second, just to kind of correct myself. It might be a +20, it might be a +30, but I also slowed the throttle down for that little bit of time too. Slowing the throttle down combined with not allowing a huge steering command, those two things combined are going to prevent you from having an oversteer when you first acquire that strip at the angle. So I hope this helps. I'm going to post this to YouTube, and I'll post it to the Teams page, and hopefully somebody will jump on this morning and give it a shot. Thanks.